season finale in the Junior GP category has arrived, and the second race of Sunday is just moments from lights out. Only 16 laps remain in what has been a gripping and unpredictable year, one that has already seen Brian Uriarte clinch the championship, while the battle for the remaining podium places stays wide open heading into the season finale. And what a place to conclude it all. Valencia's Circuit Ricardo Tormo is one of the most iconic venues on the calendar. Its tight, technical layout has produced countless last lap dramas over the years, making it a favourite for riders and spectators alike. With a vibrant atmosphere and a rich racing heritage, there are few better backdrops for the season's curtain call. So without further delay, let's go racing. Well, race one had plenty of drama, but minimal drama for pole sitter Marco Morelli, who was on another planet this morning. The number 97 cleared off into the distance as he took victory. There was a great battle for P4 as well, for P2 and P3 in the battle for P4. We saw the likes of David Gonzalez, Rico Salmela, Casey O'Gorman involved, as well as Joel Esteban. In that battle for the podium places, it was between Jesus Rios and Brian Uriarte. The two kept changing overtakes on one another the entire race. Rios would try one and Uriarte would have the answer. Joel Esteban did plenty of front running as well in that battle for P4. As Leo Ramersdorfer crashed out of contention. Casey O'Gorman as well retired early. Rico Salmela was running in 4th position before serving a long lap penalty and quickly began working his way through the field. Leonardo Zani helpless to stop the flying Finn. David Gonzalez, Joel Esteban and Adrian Cruces then battling one another in that battle for P4 as Uriarte and Jesus Rios kept having a go at one another. Rios sat in 2nd place, but Uriarte would always fight back on him. In the battle for P4, it looked like Joel Esteban, David Gonzalez and Cruces had cleared up, but Salmela recovered from that earlier long lap penalty to get himself into the point scoring positions, critically so, with the bronze medal up for grab in 2025. Brian Uriarte then finally got the better of Jesus Rios as Marco Morelli cruised home to yet another victory and solidify his grip on 2nd in the championship. Good afternoon and welcome along to the 2nd Junior GP race today here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. The season finale, and what a place to do it. The sun is shining, 16 degrees track temperature, 14 degrees air temperature. Not too much wind out there. Pretty perfect conditions for some late November racing, shall we say. Welcome along. I am Chris Jordan, bringing you coverage today, and joining me is my trusty teammate and companion, Connor Doherty. Connor, we're 3 races in to 5 races on the menu today. This is number 4. The previous 3 races have all been spectacular, including the opening Junior GP race. What have we got in store for our next race?
A spectacle, I think, is the only way that I can respond to a question like that. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you, Chris, and I'm thrilled to be watching more Junior GP action. We are watching Marco Morelli make his final preparations, and he has had one incredible weekend here in Valencia. Yesterday in qualifying, he was really just a step above everyone else and a step above some of the riders in the Moto3 World Championship as well. Let's not forget that he set a phenomenal pole lap time, faster, in fact, than Adrian Fernandez did just a week ago at the Valencia Grand Prix. Watching on, someone who I'm sure was very impressed by that was our reigning Moto3 champion there, David Alonso.
Reigning? Former champion, of course, Jose Antonio Rueda recently was crowned, but David Alonso is in attendance here, along with a number of other Moto3 stars. We spotted David Almanza around. Joel Kelso did a bit of track time here on the stock 600s as well throughout the weekend.
Scott Ogden, of course.
Scott Ogden, thank you. I knew I saw somebody else and it just wasn't coming to me. And there we go, Brian Uriarte. will be joining all of those riders on the World Championship stage in 2026 as the Junior GP World Champion. Second place earlier today, and just generally a superb talent, it has to be said, Brian Uriarte. That's 3 P2s in a row for him, 4 P2s in the last 5. Hasn't been outside the top 2 since Aragon race 1. He's got 2 victories in that time, 4 P2s, and of course the 3 victories at the beginning of the season that kicked off his title challenge. I think he was the first rider to win the opening 3 races of the Junior GP season since, off the top of my head, I believe it was Danny Holgado in 2021.
I do believe you're right there. And those are formidable statistics, and it really shows just how wonderful this Road to MotoGP program is, the amount of riders that are progressing up, and the fact that when they get there, they're definitely going to be in contention as well. We've already seen some of them this year, the likes of Uriarte, for example. I'm very keen to see them compete at that level and see what they're capable of doing. I mean, you've got the likes of Rico Salmela also moving up. You'll be paired alongside Valentin Peroni at KTM Tech 2, Marco Morelli, our pole sitter, who'll be with Maximo Quiles at Aspar, and you don't get picked up at Aspar if you've not got a lot of potential. So that's going to be fantastic to see, and that potential is really showing as well.
That's going to be a cracking lineup next year, isn't it? Marco Morelli, who has shown he's an absolutely rapid and incredible rider at this level. Going to make the step up, of course, to the World Championship level. It is a step up, but Max Quiles is one of the biggest talents in that paddock, and the two of them make for quite an exciting lineup. Yeah, as you mentioned, we've Salmela Tech 3, Esteban, we briefly saw on screen there as well, is off to NTA with Matteo Bertelli, and a number of other riders as well. Adrian Cruces is back here racing, and he will be off to CIP Green Power, the number 10, just popping up on screen. Perfect timing.
Absolutely.
I must thank our TV direction of it. Jesus Rios starting from the middle of the second row, moves up to the snipers, and then Zen Matani, Veda Pratama will join the Honda Team Asia.
Hakim Danish.
Yeah,
and going to be alongside Yamanaka at MSI.
And Casey O'Gorman, I think, is our final rider who's going to make the step up. And Casey is, of course, disappointment this morning for him. He had to retire due to a technical issue. So disappointment for Casey as he looked to be in that battle for P4, and through no fault of his own had to retire from the race. But he was super impressive, Casey, when he was on that World Championship stage in recent rounds, particularly Portimao, P6, when he was there with the Dynavolt Intact squad.
It'll be very interesting to see what Rico Salmela is capable of doing this time around. He was very impressive in that opening race, despite a long lap penalty. He's still looking for that win, and this is his last opportunity of claiming it in the FIM Junior GP World Championship. It's been a fantastic 2025 for him.
It is a last chance saloon for a lot of these riders to pick up that maiden win in the class. I mean, Casey is among there. Hakim Danish is on screen. Hakim and Veda Pratama both had superb outings in the Red Bull Rookies Cup this season. Hakim, of course, does have a P2 from the opening day in 2025, but hasn't managed to get back on the podium since. Veda hasn't been on the podium yet, and both of them will be starting where on the 3rd and 4th row, looking to charge through from the pack. Undeniable quality for Hakim Danish and Veda Pratama. We've seen that through the ATC. Of course, another rider of undeniable quality. Casey there, he has 3 podiums. He's the rider looking for that maiden win. But it's going to be tough because you've got Marco Morelli, who's certainly the rider to catch here in Junior GP Race 2 in Valencia.
Yeah, he set a benchmark which is almost insurmountable, especially with yesterday's qualifying and in today's opening race.
Yeah, it was 6.4 seconds off the top of my head. He won that opening race by...
There was over 6 seconds.
Yeah, a huge margin. I mean, we couldn't even get Morelli and
in the same shot.
In the same shot for much of the race.
Yeah.
Emilio Alzamora then, the head of that 72 Artbox team, has delivered a Junior GP title in the form of Brian Uriarte. We've been talking a lot about the riders who are making the step up to Moto3 next season, but that does, of course, leave somewhat of a vacuum for the 2026 Junior GP season. And Giulio Pugliese, just on screen there, on that Aspar Junior team, he'll be one of the front runners, you'd have to imagine, next season. David Gonzalez is there as well. David Gonzalez is a rapid rider, just hasn't had that consistency. He does have a podium in Misano, but where is he in the championship? 9th in the championship. So yeah, Leonardo Zanni, of course, he's had an excellent season, a race winner back in Aragon. When you go down there, it has to be said that the Junior GP category is in good hands, and of course there will be riders stepping up to the Junior GP category from the European Talent Cup next season and from further afield as well. Look at Carlos Cano, Fernando Bujosa, so plenty of talent coming through. But eyes then on the race ahead, about 3 minutes until we get underway.
Let's take a look at our starting grid then. It is Marco Morelli on pole, accompanied on the front row by Jesus Rios and Brian Uriarte. On row 2, it's Gonzalez, Esteban and Zanni. And behind them, on row 3, Cruzes, Salmela and Danish. On row 4, O'Gorman, Pertama and Pugliese. Row 5, Mouncy, Bellon and Belford. On row 6, Mitani, Abruzzo and Michiello. Behind them, on row 7, we've got Modignani, Boggio and Ramestoffer. On row 8, it's Brown, Fomera and Nicolis. On row 9, Singapong, Uchiumi and Daniel. And on the back 2 rows, we have Farkas, Tietzi and Bertola. And then on row 11, it's Shonrock and Truchot.
So just about to get underway then for the warm-up lap here in Valencia as the curtain comes down on the 2025 Junior GP season. And Connor, I'm going to ask you yet again, who's going to win?
I feel like these questions are very unfair when we've got a field of this quality. I think I might edge towards what I said previously whilst remaining on the fence and point out that Marco Morelli has been unstoppable so far over the course of this weekend in Valencia, and he showed us that again this morning in race 1.
Yeah, he was absolutely incredible. I mean, a 6-second plus gap. It's hard not to look at Morelli as the overwhelming favourite here, but of course if Uriarte can get away well and go with them, then he'll be in with the chance. I thought Rico Salmela had some good pace as well through the opening race. Would have maybe caught that podium battle if it wasn't for that long lap penalty. So just to go a little bit left field, I think I'm going to go for the flying Finn, Rico Salmela, to take a win here.
His maiden win.
Well, his first win of the season, yes.
Yeah.
It'll be his first win of the season, and it'll solidify 3rd in the championship for him. Of course, Uriarte has already got the gold medal sewn up. Morelli has 1 hand and 4 fingers on the silver medal. He has a 23-point advantage over Rico Salmela. Whatever happens, Morelli will finish on the podium. And then the battle for bronze continues. Salmela does have a slight outside chance of overtaking Morelli in 2nd if he wins, but he has a 5-point advantage over Joel Esteban in 4th. Jesus Rios is also in contention after his podium earlier today. He's 8 points behind Rico Salmela. And Casey O'Gorman has an outside chance of getting himself among the top 3.
No one you can rule out there at all, I think.
Yeah, all riders capable of sticking it on the podium. Let's see what happens then. 16 laps of Junior GP fun coming your way, just about to get underway as riders roll up to their grid spots. Green flag waves in the background, the red flag leaves the track, eyes are on the lights. We have the first set of lights coming up and we're ready to go. We are racing. Marco Morelli gets a good start. Uriarte gets a better one. He fires himself right onto the rear wheel of the number 97, does the Junior GP champion. Superb start from the number 51. David Gonzalez off to a good start as well. Pushes himself into the top 3 from the head of the 2nd row. Joel Esteban sits in 5th place, but for how long? Because Jesus Rios is coming through on Esteban. Esteban down to 6th with Rios up to 5th. But Morelli has got the start he wanted. while Uriarte is up into second position. We have a faller at turn 3. The yellow flags are out. Not quite sure who it is just yet. We'll bring you an update once we know ourselves.
It might be Nicolas, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, the number 37 of Marianos Nicolis seems to have an issue there. The Australian rider. Disappointment for him early door. So let's see what happened here. Oh yeah, he's crashed out straight away. Disappointment then. His race is run before it has even begun. Let's see if he will rejoin. But back out front, it is Morelli leading the field as he has every lap here in Valencia so far. But Uriarte is paying close attention to him. David Gonzalez is hot in the heels as well.
Yeah, absolutely. David Gonzalez got away well, it seems, as well, chasing down Brian Uriarte. And Uriarte will be pleased that, unlike in race 1, he's not battling anyone here, because he was chopping and changing for the immense majority of our opener here in Valencia with Jesus Rios. This time around, he seems to be able to just have a bit of space, and he's got to try and take advantage of that if he's going to have any chance of chasing down Morelli.
So round they come to knock off the opening laps here in the Junior GP season finale, and it's much as it has been this weekend. Morelli at the head of the grid as we've lost. Is that Veda Pratama who's gone down in the background? I think it is. Disappointment then for Pratama. Yeah. Unfortunately, he was hoping for a good result to send him off to Moto3 next season. The young Indonesian rider is a serious talent. An Asia Talent Cup champion, of course, in 2023, if I am not mistaken, and a pretty dominant winner that season as well. Unfortunately, though, hasn't gone his way in Junior GP, hasn't broken onto the podium this year. Red Bull Rookies Cup, though, he was excellent throughout the campaign. So one to watch in Moto3 next season.
As is Jesus Rios, who's just behind David Gonzalez there, looking to make a move, or it looked like that, but he'd be biding his time. And just behind there, we do have Adrian Cruzes and Rico Salmela as well, battling early on. And we've got
Salmela's out.
Salmela is
out. And that's got consequences in the championship standings, because Salmela currently occupies P3 in the championship standings. Is that crash going to cost him a chance of the bronze medal? If I'm not mistaken, it should put Joel Esteban or Jesus Rios now, I think. Joel Esteban slightly behind Jesus Rios. So we'll have the live standing very shortly to bring you confirmation, but I think it will be Esteban who sits in third position. Uriarte then, not letting Morelli escape early doors here. Jesus Rios works his way through on David Gonzalez. You called it earlier, Connor. Rios is on the charge here, and it's a 1-2-3 as you were from race 1.
Yeah, turn 1, they're going into turn 2 now, but Rios, absolutely one to watch over the course of this race. Now that he's got a bit of space ahead of him, he's got to try and maintain his calm as he's got Gonzalez just behind. But the real key to this race is Uriarte managing to keep the pressure on Marco Morelli, because he's going to want to win in style.
Yeah, absolutely. He just hit the fastest lap of the race there, Uriarte, and that's what happened to Rico Salmela, unfortunately. Unfortunately for the Finn.
I think you might have cursed him there, because if I do recall correctly, 5 minutes ago you were suggesting that he was going to be walking away from Circuit Ricardo Tormo with a gold medal.
The commentator's curse strikes yet again. My apologies, Rico.
And there goes Uriarte.
And there goes your commentator's curse. Marco Morelli fighting back though. Marco Morelli not giving up the lead there. That's the first time he has been challenged for the lead here in Valencia, and Uriarte fired his way through, coming through turn 11. Morelli fighting immediately back. Yeah,
Morelli knows he's there now, though. This is going to be a wonderful battle between these two young riders. And just a bit further back there, we are seeing David Gonzalez there, who's moved into P3.
Yeah, Jesus Rios, Joel Esteban, David Gonzalez then in that battle just behind. So Jesus Rios, actually, as you can see there, tied on points with Joel Esteban for the bronze medal, but Rios does have it by virtue of a better winning record as things stand. But of course, things can very much change in the blink of an eye in Junior GP. We all know that. So eyes on Casey O'Gorman, who leads Adrian Cruces in the battle for 6th position. Can either of these riders get themselves onto the coattails of David Gonzalez just ahead of them? Just checking the lap times. Lapping the same as the riders ahead of them, so they'll need
Laura
a little
Shonrock's
bit
down
more.
as well, I think.
And is that Laura Shonrock, who is out of the race? Disappointment for the number 2. He has rejoined, but a crash there at turn 4. So we've had a few early fallers as the sun begins to set here in Valencia. Yeah, down at turn 4, front end washout.
Very frustrated.
Fair to say he is disappointed with that one. Marco Morelli then doing the front running once again here. Brian Uriarte challenged him briefly for the lead a few corners ago, about a lap ago, but hasn't shown him anything since. Jesus Rios settling into a comfortable 3rd with Joel Esteban, David Gonzalez in chase. Then there's Casey O'Gorman. Is that David Gonzalez who's gone down?
Like it.
It is David Gonzalez. Gonzalez is out of the running here. Yeah, the number 11 is out of the podium battle. What a disappointing way for Gonzalez to finish his season. Again, another rider who has crashed but quickly rejoins. So the back of the field now has the likes of Marianos Nicolas, Rico Salmela running at the back, and David Gonzalez will be joining them. Laura Shunrock as well in there too. Crashing out of 5th place.
Rios getting closer there to our leading duo of Morelli and Uriarte. He just recorded a 1:37.462, which is faster than both the current race leaders. Their little battle may be playing into Rios's hands if he can catch up and just try and take advantage of it. Does go wide there though.
About a second, that's about a second's gap there, as you can see on the left hand side of the timing. 0.913. As Uriarte, it looked like he had a slight moment there at the end of the picture. So Morelli, Uriarte, Rios, as you were from race 1, the standout trio down here in Valencia, once again doing the front running. Joel Esteban looking to go with them. Joel Esteban, a 1:37.8 last time around. Rios dropped in by 0.4 of a second. What about this time as we come through sector 4? The battle for 5th, currently led by Casey O'Gorman. O'Gorman looking for a strong finish to his Junior GP career as he steps up to the Moto3 World Championship next year with the 658 Quattrocorse. Number 67 has a few bike lengths advantage then as he comes over the line over Adrian Cruces and Leonardo Zani.
Yeah, he's going to have to keep his calm though, with riders of their like behind him. Both Cruces and Zani have been impressive this year, especially Zani, of course. Can't forget that he did get that win earlier in the campaign.
Yeah, number of riders here. This is the battle for 11th, led by Zen Matani over Leo Ramastorfer. Sullivan Mountsie in there looking to make a few moves. But it is Zen Matani, the number 32. He's looking to end the season here with a top 10. About 7/10 of a second, I think. About 5/10 of a second now behind Evan Belfort. So Matani beginning to chase down a top 10 finish here. Back out front though, no problem so far for Marco Morelli. Still leads Brian Uriarte. The gap then between Uriarte and Jesus Rios has come down to about 0.1 of a second. So he's chipping away at it, is Jesus Rios. Third place as things stand would be good enough to seal 3rd in the championship ahead of Joel Esteban for Rios. So you'll have to see how much he is willing to risk here in the season finale.
Yeah, Mitani's doing incredibly well. He, of course, started from P16, moved up 4 spots, and qualifying really proving to be a bit of an issue for him, because you get the feeling that if he started a bit further up the grid, then maybe he would have been able to maintain the pressure on the riders that are currently leading. But Uriarte, as you see them going through turn 1 now, doing so well.
It looks like Uriarte was maybe going to line up a move into turn 2, but it seems the boat ran off circuit slightly there. It looked like he was trying to get the better drive out of turn 1 to maybe fire one up the inside of turn 2, but nothing going for him on this occasion. Plenty of time left in this race, of course. 1:37.557 from Uriarte was the fastest lap last time around, I believe, or his own fastest one. Jesus Rios in the 137.5s, as was Marco Morelli. So a pace above these riders, the only riders in the 137s last time. So Uriarte, has he got anything for Marco Morelli coming around turn 8, maybe into turn 11? Rios slowly chiseling away at that advantage as he a little bit of a wobble coming around turn 8 there. So nothing going this time. Morelli calm and composed out front. He has been absolutely sensational this weekend, the young Argentinian. Pole sitter with half a second to spare in his back pocket, and then race winner in the morning race here in Junior GP with about 6.5 seconds to spare in his back pocket. And this is the most pressure he has had all weekend or all day, and he is managing it quite well, it has to be said. Brian Uriarte did make a move for the lead at turn 11 a few laps ago, but Morelli responded in kind almost immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the duel between these two is absolutely sensational. You can see Cal is kind of watching on there from the outbox box.
Yeah, star of the future, the next star coming through the 72 outbox system.
Rios and Cruces then with track limit warnings.
Yeah, one to watch for Jesus Rios as he tries to keep pace. A 137.4 last time around though for Marco Morelli, the fastest lap. A 137.4 from Uriarte, also a 137.4 from Jesus Rios. These three guys are in a world of their own in terms of pace. The next fastest rider going around was 138.1, so over 0.6 of a second, nearly 0.7 of a second to Casey O'Gorman, I think it was. No, indeed, it was Leonardo Zanni. So they're just in a whole different world. This is what Marco Morelli had in race 1. Look at this moment here. He's out of the seat, is Brian Uriarte. But this is what Marco Morelli had in race 1. Just unmatchable pace. But this time around, he is being matched by Uriarte and by Jesus Rios. Rios does have more ground to make up, as a little bit of a gap does open up between the 97 and 51 for the first time in this race. But Uriarte has slipped to 0.5 of a second ahead of Jesus Rios, so Rios is gaining at them.
Yeah, Rios is edging slowly but surely towards these leading two. You'd have to hope that he's capable of matching their pace for what's left of this race, because he's going to be using those tyres, those Pirelli tyres, quite significantly as he tries to catch up. But there he is, confirmation that he's just set the fastest lap, 137.427.
Yeah, superb stuff. He's really coming into his own now, is Jesus Rios, around the halfway stage of this Junior GP race here in Valencia. The number 54 looking to close the gap to Morelli and Uriarte ahead of him. It's about 0.6 of a second on our timer screen, 0.7 on the graphic. Morelli and Uriarte run a little bit wider, but it does look like, it looks like the 54 has visibly closed up by a bike length or two in the last lap on the two riders ahead of him. So this looks like it's going to be a three-way fight, and there we have confirmation. Lap 8, he took nearly 0.2 of a second out of Uriarte.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from the Spaniard as he looks to get closer, and as you mentioned there, we are seeing him visibly get closer to the back wheel of Brian Uriarte. There it says 0.472 seconds between the two Spaniards.
Yeah, it's down to 0.4 of a second now. The gap between Rios and Uriarte. Rios by far has the best pace here, 137.4 last time around, the only rider in the 137.4s last time around, and that is the fastest lap of the race. What have we got coming for us this time around? 137.3 from Jesus Rios. Absolutely sensational pace from the FIM Network Near Racing rider. He is now closing in fast on Uriarte and Morelli. A 137.3 from Rios. The other two riders were in the 137.4 mids. So he is quite a bit quicker per lap coming around. Sullivan Mountsie then making move on Leo Ramersdorfer a little further back, but Mountsie runs it wide there. Just ahead of him is Giulio Pugliese and the number 52 of Evan Belford, both of whom fighting for the final top 10 positions. would be a strong result for both riders.
Oh,
As they sign off the season, is that Jesus Rios, and is a pace that is just too hot to handle. Can he rejoin? Because if he rejoins, he will be in point scoring positions, but he's brought some gravel onto the track there. That is Adrian Cruces, who is behind him. So he's joined in 6th position. So that is a costly mistake from Jesus Rios. We were complimenting, we were praising him for setting such an unbelievable pace. Unbelievable pace, and indeed it proved to be unbelievable as he crashed out. Disappointment. That is a podium gone up in smoke for Jesus Rios, and it may be P3 in the championship there. We had a quick glance at the FIM Network box. A lot of disappointed faces in there, including that of David Almanza, the Moto3 rider, who of course has plenty of experience in the Junior GP category. So that means Morelli and Uriarte have got a 5-second advantage or so over Joel Esteban, who is now our P3 runner. Casey O'Gorman in 4th position, Leonardo Zani in 5th. Esteban running really wide there. Time and time again, riders are going very, very wide at turns 1 and 8. But there's a podium on offer here for Casey O'Gorman, has to be said. And all the bronze medal position, or all the bronze medal hopefuls, better said, they're not enjoying the best of days here. Joel Esteban now, if he finishes here, he will win or take the bronze medal at a canter. Jesus Rios still sits in 4th in the standings, but Casey O'Gorman is in with a chance here. Rico Salmela was in with the chance and was holding on to the position, but he's also crashed out of contention. So David Gonzalez as well was chasing down a podium. He's crashed out, so it's been a pretty crash-strewn afternoon, it has to be said, with about 5.5 laps to go.
Yeah, it's been dramatic to say the least. There's still about a second, 1.3 seconds between Joel Esteban and Casey O'Gorman, but O'Gorman has performed fantastically. He's got to maintain his calm if he's going to try and reel in Esteban here. These leading two have been absolutely sensational from the start. Maybe you wouldn't have said that Brian Uriarte would be able to match the pace of Marco Morelli. Well, that would have been to underestimate our champion here in Junior GP. Brian Uriarte has managed to keep the pace with Marco Morelli from start to finish here. He's not giving him a moment's peace, and those two are going to be going at it right until the last. You can be sure of that. As Esteban pulls through there, Gorman does look like he's getting closer.
Yeah, he runs very wide there. Gorman had a little bit of a wobble as well coming down the front straight. So can Casey O'Gorman or Leonardo Zani close the gap to Joel Esteban in P3? It currently stands at about 0.8 of a second. Last time around, O'Gorman was lapping into 138.3s. Joel Esteban was lapping into 138.8s. So, Connor, you said it does look like it's coming down. Their proof is in the pudding there. He had about half a second to spare, 0.6 of a second. What about the opening 2 sectors here? And he is quicker again, is O'Gorman. They matched each other going through sector 1, but he's about 0.2 quicker going through sector 2 is Casey O'Gorman. I was also going to mention that the number 97, Marco Morelli, looked like he had opened up a bit of a gap. He was out to 2.5 of a second, but Uriarte has closed that up.
Yeah, we've seen him do that time and time again over the course of this race, something he was unable to do in race 1. This time around, every time Morelli looks like he's opening a gap, he'll just see Uriarte right there behind him again at the next corner. So Uriarte doing so well to maintain the pace, maintain the pressure, and maybe even make the move here as we go into turn 1. Not quite close enough there between our 2 race leaders for Uriarte to make his move there.
Yeah, nothing going that occasion, but just showing him the front wheel, as here we see now the battle for the podium. The final podium place is beginning to really heat up. O'Gorman and Zani have caught Esteban. There's only a couple tenths, about 0.4 of a second, I think, between those podium hopefuls. Back out front though, Marco Morelli is still in the lead. We saw some nervous faces there in the MLAV box.
And rightly so, when you've got a rider like Uriarte behind you. Of course, if Marco Morelli were to win here in Valencia.
Here we go. Uriarte.
There it is.
There's the move. He's been building to that over the last few corners. Uriarte, what does Marco Morelli now have in response? Coming through left to 9, right through 10 and around turn 11. Can Morelli cut back on the inside? It looks like Uriarte's gone defensive and closed any possibility of the inside line, but here he comes through 12. Nothing yet for Marco Morelli. Turn 14 is his next big opportunity. He was slightly onto the green there. But will Morelli make a move? He's done all the front running. This is the longest he has not been in the lead down in Valencia, and Uriarte's going to hold on to the lead coming out of the final corner. What about going into turn 1? Morelli into the slipstream of the number 51. 3 laps to go here in the season finale. Can the Argentinian fight back and get himself ahead?
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Morelli if he can just get close enough. It doesn't look like he is, but Morelli's not going to enjoy seeing Uriarte from behind now after having spent so long ahead. And now Casey O'Gorman is looking like he was going to try and make the move there on Esteban, and they go side by side. Is it O'Gorman who leads? It is. O'Gorman now moves into P3. Can he make it stick here ahead of Joel Esteban?
Yeah, the inside line there from O'Gorman proving pivotal. He had the advantage coming down the straight, but they both went wide at turn 1. Now Casey O'Gorman has got himself up onto the podium. What a superb result. This would be for the Irish rider on his farewell. Joel Esteban then shuffles that down to 4th. It should still be good enough for the bronze medal in the championship chase. Leonardo Zanni, though, is also eyeing up a little bit of silverware for himself here in Valencia. You see the position progression there from Casey O'Gorman, up 7 places. He's got phenomenal pace here late on with 2.5 laps remaining. We've got yellow flags out in turn 2.
It's Kiatsek Singapong who's gone down.
Kiatsek Singapong, disappointingly for him, now is out of the running. So, eyes on this battle for P3. It's really, really heating up now, the action in both the battle for the victory and the battle for bronze here in Valencia. O'Gorman's got a couple bike lengths to spare over Esteban, with Leonardo Zanni in P5.
Yeah, it looks like Zanni has been waiting for the right moment as well, whether it's going to come now or he's still got a bit of time left. But Zanni, again, a phenomenal rider, and as O'Gorman has very much managed to catch up with Joel Esteban. When is he going to find an opportunity to try and make his move, get ahead of Joel Esteban? But for the time being, it's still Esteban who occupies P4.
Yeah, some more nervous faces there in the FIM network box. There could be an attack coming here from the number 57. It looked like he was about to line up the inside move at turn 2, but nothing going for Zanni that time around. Got a little bit out of shape going in on entry there. So it's as you were in this battle for P3. Casey O'Gorman's got a couple bike lengths advantage and is looking cool, calm and composed with just over 1.5 laps remaining. Back out front, it's still Brian Uriarte over Marco Morelli. Nothing to separate that duo, the standout riders of the 2025 European, the JuniorGP Championship, I should say. So, a fitting finale, Connor, here from what has been an incredible season in JuniorGP.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Brian Uriarte is able to maintain his lead over Morelli, he would deny him 3 wins on the bounce, which of course Uriarte was able to achieve at the beginning of the season in both Estoril and Jerez. So that'd be a little thing that Uriarte would like to maintain, I'm sure. His record of consecutive wins.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Uriarte over Morelli with 1.5 laps to go, not even. We're coming over the last corner now, and it's Morelli who has fought back and taken the advantage. The number 97 has gotten himself ahead of Uriarte at the final corner. Last lap then of the JuniorGP season. Marco Morelli leads the champion, Brian Uriarte, through turn 1 to go. Uriarte has no move in offing. They both run it very, very wide. Marco Morelli still holds the advantage, but is there a move coming up the inside from Uriarte at turn 2? There absolutely is. Can Morelli get him on the cutback? Nothing going for the Argentinian on the cutback. Turn 11 is his next big opportunity. Perhaps he'll do something before then. Perhaps he'll do something before then, won't he? At turn 4 and 5. I'm getting ahead of myself. I forgot about half the turns. Brilliant stuff from Marco Morelli. The number 97 is back in. Turn 6, Angel Nieto corner. Holds it steady through there. Emilio Alzamora, the 72 Artbox team, watch on nervously. Now, turn 8. Brian Uriarte, has he got anything for the Argentinian out front. What about in the battle for P3? It's Joel Esteban got anything for the 67. Casey O'Gorman coming through turn 8. I think he was going to try and move up the inside there. Turn 10, turn 11 then. Nothing going here for Uriarte just yet. Turn 12 and 14, his next big opportunities. Esteban has indeed taken P3 away from Casey O'Gorman back at turn 11. So O'Gorman will try and move surely at the final couple of corners, overtaking hotspot through 12 and 14. Marco Morelli, though, has he got this one covered? Uriarte coming to wider line there, looking to cut back. They touch rear wheel and front wheel, but it is going to be Marco Morelli, surely, who takes the victory here. The number 97 goes back to back over Brian Uriarte. What about the battle for bronze? Joel Esteban looks to have it covered. Can Casey O'Gorman get out of the slipstream and take a podium? Nothing going. Joel Esteban takes P3 in the race and the championship. So there you have it. Marco Morelli, back-to-back race winner, 3 in a row for the Argentinian.
Absolutely breathless stuff here in Junior GP. What a last lap. Marco Morelli and Brian Uriarte battling it out there for the top spot on the podium here in Valencia. It could have gone either way. Uriarte gave it absolutely everything he had, but it wasn't enough to match what Marco Morelli has done here in Valencia over the course of this weekend. He's been absolutely sensational, and he can proudly wave that Argentinian flag. He steps on the top spot of the podium for the 3rd time in a row and the 2nd time here in Valencia. And a good little sporting moment between the two as they congratulate each other for what has been an absolutely sensational race.
Rico Salmela then crossing the line as the final rider. What a day it is for the MLab squad. Marco Morelli makes it 3 victories in a row. What a way to sign off your Junior GP career as he jumps up to the Aspar team in Moto3 World Championship next season. He is certainly going to be one of the rookies to watch. I, for one, cannot wait to see Morelli and Uriarte do it all over again next season. 2 of the finest talents to come through the Junior GP series in recent years. Gave us a phenomenal showing to bring the curtain down on the 2025 campaign. Uriarte, though, takes P2 today, but most importantly, he is your Junior GP World Champion. He wrapped that up in Barcelona last time. It's 4 consecutive P2s. It's an incredible record which Uriarte has. He won the opening 3 races of the year. Magny-Cours, he led the race before crashing out in difficult conditions. He still came P10, P8 in Aragon, and then he went back to winning ways in race 2 in Aragon. Picked up a Misano race win in race 2. Race 1 saw him on the podium, and now it's been 4 consecutive P2s. It's an incredible record. Incredible consistency from Uriarte. Whereas Marco Morelli's end to the season, equally as incredible. He picked up his podium. A reminder that he is just a rookie in the Junior GP category, and he got his first podium in race 2 in Aragon. Then he got that breakthrough win in Misano, race 1, followed up with the podium. P4 in Catalonia, where he led going into the final corner and was unlucky not to be on the podium, and also unlucky not to win it. And then he's gotten 3 straight wins. Superb stuff. Then to close out the season with a hat-trick of victories from the Argentinian. Celebrations are very much in full flow down in Parc Ferme after an incredible Junior GP season. So the riders peel in through pit lane and up towards Parc Ferme, where we'll listen in for some of the debriefs and celebrations.
Bravo, bravo.
A big embrace. Marco Morelli leaving for pastures new from the MLab squad. A big embrace with the team manager, Macaulay Webb, as they bid farewell to one another in the most fitting of circumstances, or in the perfect way, shall we say, with 3 straight victories. Brian Uriarte also going to be leaving the 72 Art Box team as he prepares for life on the World Championship stage. Joel Esteban, P3, and secures the bronze medal in 2025. Capitalizing on that late crash for Jesus Rios. He too will be returning to the Moto 3 World Championship. Esteban, of course, jumped up in 2024 with the CF Moto Aspar team before returning to the Junior GP category full-time this season. Of course, he did appear plenty in the Moto 3 Championship as a substitute rider and wildcard rider on a number of occasions. As we look at the battle for first here, those were the first moves from Uriarte, but Morelli responded immediately. And this was the wider line Uriarte tried to adopt. They touched tires at the final corner. Uriarte gave it his all, but it was Morelli who took the win. And a warm embrace between the on-track rivals. And we will be seeing plenty more of the two of them in the years to come on the biggest stage of all, that is the World Championship stage in Moto 3. We can hear from our race winner then. Marco Morelli is down with Connor.
That's right, Chris. Marco, first of all, massive congratulations. 3 wins in a row. It wasn't easy because Brian pushed you all the way in this race, but what a way to say goodbye to your team and to this championship.
Yeah, it was amazing to finish like this. An incredible season. We finished with 4 races, 4 win races. As you say, 3 straight. So yeah, I'm very happy. In this end of the championship, we did a fantastic job. We worked super hard to be in these positions. I remember at the beginning of the season was completely disaster, and to be now here is just only say thank you. I am sad but happy because in the end this weekend I did what I want to do, is give MLab a double win. So to finish this relationship together in the best way possible, and yeah, I'm super happy.
Y en esta carrera, Brian no te lo puso fácil, para nada, pero ahora has conseguido 3 victorias seguidas y vaya manera de despedir a tu equipo y también este campeonato.
Sí, la verdad que súper agradecido. La carrera no fue fácil, Brian estuvo muy fuerte esta vez, pero bueno, jugué mis cartas, al final tuvimos una bonita batalla al final, la última vuelta, y nada, súper agradecido, súper contento. Al final nos vamos con 4 victorias esta temporada. Ya, si me lo llegas a decir al principio de temporada, no me lo hubiera creído porque estábamos sufriendo un montón. Y al final terminar así es una manera muy bonita de terminar, sobre todo con el equipo, con el campeonato. Dar el salto al campeonato del mundo de esta manera es increíble. Solo tengo palabras para decir gracias y gracias a toda la gente que me ha seguido durante este camino.
Congratulations again.
Marco Morelli launched from pole position in race 2 in Valencia, and he got the dream launch, taking the whole shot as Brian Uriarte fired himself onto the rear wheel of the Argentinian. We had a couple of fallers early in the day. Marianos Nicolis and Veda Pertama amongst them, as their seasons came to close in a disappointing fashion, as it did for Rico Salmela. A crash cost him the bronze medal for the 2025 championship. Laura Skunrock also crashing out of contention. David Gonzalez was running in 5th position when the number 11 went down into the gravel. But out front, there were no such problems for Marco Morelli or Brian Uriarte. Jesus Rios was setting an unbelievable pace behind the lead duo, but it was too unbelievable as he also crashed out of contention late in the day, though he did rejoin to pick up a finishing position inside the top 8. That handed Joel Esteban P3, while Morelli and Uriarte battled for victory. Casey O'Gorman, Leonardo Zani caught up with Joel Esteban and set their sights on the final podium place. Uriarte was looking for victory and made a move up the inside of Morelli, but Morelli did manage to respond quickly. Casey O'Gorman took P3 off the hands of Joel Esteban, going around turn 2 late on. While back out front, Uriarte was throwing the kitchen sink at Marco Morelli and did get ahead of the number 97, but the 97 just seemed to have an answer for every attack, while Joel Esteban did respond on Casey O'Gorman to take 3rd in race 2 in Valencia and the championship, while Morelli held on for victory over Uriarte to seal 2nd in the championship and 3 consecutive victories in JuniorGP.
La tercera plaza de Joel Esteban.
Now we'll go to our podium celebrations there. Joel Esteban, the first to come out. Another podium for Esteban, after doing so in Catalonia in our previous round as well. And Brian Uriarte and Marco Morelli joining him on the rostrum in P2 and P1 respectively. And for the second time today, we will hear the Argentinian national anthem. Podium trophies here being presented by Mr. Jean-Marc Bernoux.
Jean-Marc Bernoux, representando a la FIM, entregará el trofeo al tercer clasificado, Joel Esteban.
Joel Esteban with his hard-fought for P3. Uriarte, who gave it everything he had in a duel from start to finish with Marco Morelli. And it is David Alonso, Moto3 world champion and current Moto2 rider, who presents the trophy.
Escuchamos en honor del vencedor el himno de Argentina.
Morelli there celebrating with Macaulay of MLab Racing.
Ahí está la celebración, esos aplausos para Marco.
Wonderful to see there, David Alonso, Colombian, presenting the trophy to an Argentinian, Marco Morelli. And great to see the union in that MLab team as well on the podium as they enjoy their Prosecco and Rosewater, I believe it is. Fantastic celebrations there. For the last time in the FIM JuniorGP World Championship in 2025. These are then the final results after that race. It was Marco Morelli with the win, followed on the podium by Brian Uriarte and Joel Esteban. Casey O'Gorman finished 4th in the end, followed by Leonardo Zani. Jesus Rios finished P6 despite his crash. Adrian Cruces in 7th, Hakim Danish in 8th, and Evan Belford with an excellent 9th. In 10th, Giulio Pugliese. In 11th, Dodo Boggio. 12th, Sullivan Mounty. 13th, Monognani. 14th, Ramersdorfer. 15th, Fomerer. And 16th, Mitani, with Michelon in P17. Ujiumi in 18th, Farkas in 19th, Abruzzo in 20th, Daniel in 21st, Brown in 22nd. In P23 is Cesare Tiezzi, 24, Eduardo Bertola, and 25th, Rico Salmela. In 26th, it was Truchot, and in 27th, Sean Rock with Bellon, Gonzalez, Singapong, and Nicolis, as well as Pratama, failing to finish. And those results mean that our championship standings at the end of the 2025 campaign finish like this. Brian Uriarte is the leader. Morelli in P2. Esteban moves into P3 at Jesus Rios' expense. Rico Samela drops to 5th. O'Gorman 6th. Zani 7th. Danish 8th. And David Gonzalez finishes 9th. Pratama 10th, Mitani 11th, Pugliese 12th, Evan Belford finishes ahead of Ramastorfer in 13th, Mouncy 15th, Boggio 16th, and Adrian Cruzes finishes in 17th. Abruzzo 18th, Fernandez 19th, and Alsina drops to 20th. We tragically lost this year. 21st, Fomera, Monignani 22nd, Singapong 23rd, Bellon 24th, Michielon 25th. Nicholas 26th, Brown 27th, and Kevin Farkas in 28th. And that brings a thrilling year of Junior GP action to an incredible conclusion. All of these riders performed incredibly well, but it was Brian Uriarte who takes the lead in the standings with a sensational season. But here in Valencia, no one could match Marco Morelli.